In 2024, 5 tourists vanished without a trace while exploring different parts of the world. Their stories are chilling, and their fates remain a mystery. Today we'll take you through each case, examining the details of their disappearances and what's been uncovered so far. These are real stories that are as unsettling as they are baffling. Where are they now? Let's find out. On July 22nd, 2024, Simon Robinson, a 27-year-old man from Skegness, Lincolnshire, England, flew to Thailand for a solo trip. He planned to return home on August 3rd. Simon was known for his love of travel and exploring new places, so this trip was nothing unusual for him. However, something unexpected happened just a few days into his journey. On July 26th, Simon called his girlfriend and told her he was coming home earlier than planned. He didn't explain why he cut his trip short, leaving his family and friends confused. Simon was supposed to board a flight from Bangkok's Suvarnabhumi International Airport that day. His phone's last location showed he was near the airport but never got on the plane. That was the last time anyone heard from him. As time passed, Simon's family grew more worried. They couldn't reach him by phone, and there were no signs of him in Bangkok. His family and friends started posting about his disappearance on social media, hoping someone in Thailand might have seen him. His sister, Sarah Robinson Dale, was active online, sharing updates and asking for help. Despite the family's efforts, there were no solid leads. They contacted the British Embassy in Bangkok, but progress was slow. Sarah kept posting on Facebook, thanking people for their support and asking anyone in Bangkok to contact the police if they had any information about Simon. On August 5th, Simon's family received some surprising news. A man claiming to be a Thai immigration officer informed them that Simon had boarded a flight on July 26th, but it wasn't to the UK. Instead, Simon had flown to Helsinki, Finland on a Finnair flight. This was confirmed by Simon's last social media activity, which matched the time the flight landed in Helsinki. This information shifted the search from Bangkok to Helsinki. Simon's family was shocked. Why would Simon fly to Finland? Why didn't he take a connecting flight to the UK? These questions made the situation even more puzzling. Simon had disappeared, thousands of miles from where he was last expected to be. Simon's mother expressed her frustration on social media, criticizing authorities' lack of action in Thailand and the UK. She updated everyone, saying she was waiting to hear from the police and the embassy in Helsinki. Even with the new information about Simon's flight, no one knew where he was in Finland. Friends, family, and even strangers offered help. Some suggested contacting hospitals in Helsinki, while others recommended finding someone who spoke the local language to assist in the search. But despite all these efforts, there was still no sign of Simon. Simon's family hasn't shared any theories about why he would fly to Finland or didn't take his flight back to the UK. The reasons for his sudden change in plans remain unknown. Sarah continued to post updates on Facebook, staying in touch with the British Embassy in Finland, but the search for Simon was still ongoing. Simon's disappearance is deeply troubling. A young man who loves travel suddenly changes plans and then vanishes without a trace. The lack of answers has left his family and friends desperate and heartbroken. It was February of 2024 when Kathy Brandle, 71, and her husband, Ralph Hendry, 66, were living their dream. After years of hard work, they sold their Virginia home and purchased a yacht called Simplicity. This was more than just a boat. It was their home, sanctuary, and gateway to adventure. They had sailed along the eastern US coast for years, exploring new places and meeting new people. Finally, they planned a long-awaited trip to the Caribbean. They set sail from Hampton, Virginia, joining the 2023 Caribbean Rally in Antigua. They planned to spend the winter cruising the Eastern Caribbean. Both were experienced sailors who were well respected within the sailing community. Kathy was even a 2-year board member of the Salty Dog Sailing Association. Friends described them as warm-hearted, capable, and safety-conscious. However, their dream voyage quickly turned into a nightmare. On February 18th, 2024, Kathy and Ralph were last seen by a neighbor at the dock in St. George, Grenada. They had been in regular contact with their family, particularly Kathy's son, Nick Bureau, and Ralph's son, Brian Hendry. But after that day, all communications ceased. For a couple who always stayed in touch, this was highly unusual. The next day, their yacht was seen in St. Vincent, several miles north of Grenada. A sailing captain, while paddleboarding, noticed the boat floating aimlessly. It seemed abandoned. Curiosity led him to board the yacht, where he discovered a chaotic scene. The cabin was in disarray, as if a struggle had occurred. Bloodstains were on the deck, and 2 American passports identified the missing couple. The captain took photos and sent them to an email address found in a note on board, belonging to the Salty Dog Sailing Association, before contacting authorities. On February 21st, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Coast Guard received a report about the unoccupied sailing vessel with visible bloodstains. The yacht was officially declared abandoned, and an investigation began. Authorities soon linked the abandoned yacht to the recent escape of 3 prisoners from Grenada. On February 18th, the same day Kathy and Ralph were last seen, 3 prisoners had escaped from a holding cell in Grenada. These men were dangerous. They were identified as Ron Mitchell, a 30-year-old sailor with a history of violent crimes, Trayvon Robertson, a 19-year-old unemployed man, and Abita Stanislaus, a 25-year-old farmer. After escaping, they reached Grand Anse Beach, where simplicity was tied. Authorities believe they hijacked the yacht, with Kathy and Ralph still aboard, on February 19th, and sailed to St. Vincent. It's suspected that the couple was overpowered and violently attacked before the yacht arrived in St. Vincent. The motive behind the hijacking is unclear, but authorities believe the men were looking for a quick escape and saw the yacht as an opportunity. Its proximity to the police station might have made it an easy target. Upon reaching St. Vincent, the trio likely realized the yacht couldn't go unnoticed for long. Authorities believe Kathy and Ralph were thrown overboard en route. Despite extensive searches, no bodies have been found. The 3 men were reapprehended on February 21st, hours after the yacht was searched. They were arrested for illegally entering St. Vincent, but haven't been formally charged in connection with Kathy and Ralph's disappearance. Authorities in Grenada and St. Vincent are working together to build a case. As the investigation continued, Kathy and Ralph's family hoped they might still be alive, but hope faded as days passed. On February 26th, police announced that Kathy and Ralph were presumed dead. The prisoners were reportedly cooperating, but details have not been made public. The Salty Dog Sailing Association expressed deep sorrow over the presumed loss. Friends, family, and the sailing community were devastated. A GoFundMe page was set up to cover the costs of recovering the yacht, the couple's belongings, and potential funeral expenses. Grenada's police have launched an internal investigation into how the prisoners escaped. Grenada's police commissioner, Don McKenzie, acknowledged the police station should have been secure enough to prevent the escape. A supervisor at the station has been transferred to ensure a thorough investigation. This tragic case leaves many wondering, what if the prisoners hadn't escaped? What if Kathy and Ralph had docked elsewhere? Would the outcome have been different? As of now, the fate of Kathy and Ralph remains a haunting mystery. It was April 10th, 2024, when Ryan Anthony, a 31-year-old from Texas, boarded a flight to Barcelona, Spain. Ryan, known for his passion for teaching, was excited to explore new horizons. His dream had always been to teach abroad, and this trip marked the beginning of that journey. However, what started with excitement quickly turned into a nightmare. Ryan was close to his family, especially his sister, Kaylee Anthony Willis. He was diligent about staying in touch, rarely going a day without checking in. However, communication abruptly stopped after he arrived in Barcelona with friends. He sent his sister a message about attending an LGBTQ Pride festival in Sitges with his friends, the last message she would receive from him. As days passed with no word from Ryan, Kaylee grew increasingly worried. She tried calling and messaging him, hoping it was just a case of a lost phone or that he was caught up in the festivities. But as time passed, it became clear that something was wrong. Ryan had seemingly vanished without a trace. After 2 weeks without contact, Kaylee and the Anthony family panicked. Desperate for help, Kaylee turned to social media, posting an urgent appeal on Facebook. She described Ryan in detail: 6 feet tall, 185 pounds, brown hair and eyes, and a distinctive sizable black and red bird tattoo on his left arm. Her post quickly spread, with concerned strangers sharing it across platforms. The family filed a missing person report with the US Embassy in Barcelona and the local police, the Mossos d'Esquadra. But despite their efforts, leads have yet to emerge. Ryan's credit cards hadn't been used, and his phone appeared to be turned off, making it impossible to trace his location. Kaylee also contacted Ryan's friends who were with him at the festival. 2 of them appeared in a photo she shared online, but when she messaged them, they didn't respond. One even posted on social media, but still ignored her inquiries. This silence only deepened the family's fears. Just as hope was fading, there was a breakthrough. A woman at a hostel in Sitges recognized Ryan from the photos circulating online. She reported seeing him wandering the streets, looking disordered and unwell. According to her, Ryan had been staying at the hostel, but his wallet, phone and passport had been stolen. He was left vulnerable and without a way to contact his family or return home. This sighting renewed the family's sense of urgency. Ryan's aunt, Jackie Herman, launched a GoFundMe campaign to send Ryan's mother, Kim Anthony, to Spain. The campaign showed the dire situation, noting that Ryan had been struggling with mental health issues, which might have been made worse by the theft and unfamiliar environment. The family, not used to asking for help, had no choice but to reach out for support. Kim's flight to Spain was filled with hope and dread. She knew her son was alive, but his mental state and physical well-being were unknown. The possibility of him being in a severe mental health crisis haunted her thoughts. Upon arriving in Spain, Kim immediately began working with local authorities and the US Embassy, following every lead. But Ryan remained elusive. Kim went through the streets of Sitges, handing out flyers with Ryan's picture, asking anyone if they had seen her son. The local community, moved by her determination, rallied around her. People who had never met Ryan joined the search, sharing his story on social media and helping spread the word. Despite these efforts, Ryan's whereabouts remained a mystery. He had been seen, but always one step ahead, moving from place to place. The hostel where he had stayed had no further information, and other potential sightings were vague and unconfirmed. The police, though sympathetic, had other cases to handle, and Ryan's case began to lose urgency as time went on. Ryan's mental health was a significant concern. He had always struggled with mental health issues, but managed to lead a productive life despite these challenges. However, being in a foreign country, losing his belongings, and possibly feeling isolated might have triggered a severe crisis. Reports of his disordered appearance and erratic behavior supported this theory. The family feared Ryan might not even realize he was in danger. In his current state, he could be avoiding people out of paranoia or confusion. The longer he remained on the streets, the more his condition could deteriorate. It was a race against time, not just to find Ryan, but to find him before it was too late. On June 19, 2024, Taylor Casey, a 41-year-old youth program director from Chicago, arrived in Paradise Island, Bahamas. She attended a certification retreat at the Sivananda Ashram Yoga Retreat, known for its peaceful atmosphere. Taylor deeply loved yoga, and this retreat was meant to enhance her practice and achieve a long-held goal. However, what was supposed to be a time of peace soon turned into tragedy. Taylor was last seen on the evening of June 19th. She was staying in a tent on the retreat's property. When she missed her morning yoga class the next day, it was a sign that something was wrong. The retreat organizers noticed her absence and reported her missing later that day. Taylor's mother, Colette Seymour, was immediately concerned when she learned her daughter was missing. She and Taylor's close friend Emily Williams quickly traveled to the Bahamas to assist in the search and demand action from local authorities. They were shocked to find Taylor's tent open, unguarded, and untouched upon arrival. Her belongings, including a Bible, sketchpad, and clothes, were still inside, suggesting that crucial evidence might have been lost due to the authorities' lack of urgency. The Bahamian police, led by Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skippings, claimed they were doing all they could to find Taylor. They mentioned using drones, search and rescue dogs, and divers. However, Taylor's family felt these efforts were inadequate. According to Emily Williams, the investigation was almost non-existent, with basic steps like securing Taylor's tent or issuing missing person posters overlooked. On July 2nd, 2024, the Royal Bahamas Police Force made a disturbing discovery. Taylor's cell phone was found in nearby waters at the bottom of the ocean, but her passport was still missing. This raised more questions than it answered. How did the phone end up in the water? Why hadn't more of her belongings been found? Despite Taylor's mother believing the phone could provide important information, the police refused to hand it over. As the search continued, Taylor's family grew increasingly desperate. They called for the FBI to take over the investigation, hoping that US authorities could do what the Bahamian police seemed unable or unwilling to do. But their pleas went unanswered. The US State Department acknowledged the reports of a missing American citizen, but did not comment specifically on Taylor's case due to privacy concerns. Colette and Emily also met with the Sivananda Ashram yoga retreat leaders. These meetings offered little comfort. They found the retreat's leaders mysterious and unable to provide a clear and consistent account of the events leading up to Taylor's disappearance. The retreat staff claimed they cooperated fully with the police, but Taylor's family felt confused. One troubling detail emerged during these meetings. The retreat's lead manager, Ram Soskin, mentioned that an unidentified man with a walkie-talkie was seen near Taylor's tent platform on the Monday before she disappeared. It was unclear whether the police had followed up on this lead. Another unsettling incident occurred on the day Taylor was last seen. A retreat participant reported being approached by a stranger on the beach. The man, dressed in black and wearing a Celtics baseball cap, claimed to be from Chicago and expressed interest in taking a yoga class. He followed the participant onto the retreat property, but whether this encounter is connected to Taylor's disappearance is unknown. Despite these odd occurrences, the retreat staff did not inform all guests about Taylor's disappearance. They told Taylor's family not to approach other guests, citing concerns about guest privacy. This decision increased the family's frustration, as they felt valuable information might be withheld. Back in Chicago, Taylor's disappearance shocked the local community, especially within the LGBTQ+ community. Taylor, a transgender black woman, was a well-known figure in Chicago's transgender community. Her friends and family feared that her identity might affect the urgency and seriousness with which the authorities handled the investigation. Channing Lynn Parker, CEO of Brave Space Alliance, a black-led, trans-led LGBTQ+ center in Chicago, publicly voiced these concerns, stating that the investigation seemed to be slow because Taylor was a transgender black woman. Parker emphasized that black trans women deserve the same level of care and concern as anyone else. As weeks passed, Taylor's family continued to press for answers. They held a news conference in downtown Chicago to mark her 42nd birthday, organizing a bittersweet celebration despite the uncertainty surrounding her disappearance. They were still searching for answers, hoping for a breakthrough, but the situation remained unresolved by the end of July. On July 13, 2024, Michael Friesen, a 25-year-old from Chard in Somerset, England, went missing on the island of Sardinia, Italy. Michael had travelled there to visit relatives and volunteer on a farm. He was known for being kind and gentle and deeply loved by his family. Michael had recently arrived on the island, and the intense heat had quickly affected him. Sardinia was experiencing a severe heat wave, with temperatures soaring above 40 degrees Celsius or 104 degrees Fahrenheit during the day. The day before he went missing, Michael was noticeably tired and possibly dehydrated. He wasn't used to the heat and had become visibly confused. After resting and drinking water, he told others he was walking briefly near Luogo Santo in Val di Coru. However, he never returned. Michael was last seen at 5:18 p.m. on July 13th, walking near an isolated farmhouse surrounded by dense forest. The area is known for its rough, rugged terrain and dangerous cliff drops. Later, his shorts, t-shirt and trainers were neatly placed on a wall near the volunteer site. His phone, laptop and ID were left inside his rucksack in his tent, indicating that he had left without any means of communication or identification. Michael's mother, Christina Pitalis, was devastated when she heard the news. She immediately flew from Bristol to Sardinia with Michael's younger brother to join the search. Christina described Michael as a wonderful young man who was very close to his family. She emphasized that Michael was not involved in drugs or alcohol and that he must be scared and confused. She urged locals to help search for Michael, asking them to look at their land and homes and to approach him gently if they see him. Authorities in Sardinia, including the police, firefighters, and the forest guard, launched a search operation to find Michael. However, the vast and remote area made the search easier. The extreme heat further complicated the search efforts, making it dangerous to search during the day. Christina posted on social media, pleading with anyone who might have seen Michael to stop him, talk to him, and not leave him alone. She expressed deep concern about the situation, emphasizing the close relationship between Michael and his little brother, and stressing that he would never do anything to harm them. Despite the ongoing search, days passed without any sign of Michael. Christina continued to search independently, following leads and searching through villages, open terrain, and cities with potential sightings. The police eventually suspended their search, leaving Christina to continue the search without official support. The family's frustration grew as the days passed, and there were no clear answers about what had happened to Michael. The case drew attention in the UK, with Liberal Democrat MP for Yeovil, Adam Dance, raising the issue in the House of Commons. He urged the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office to press the Italian authorities to continue their search for Michael. A fundraising page was also set up to support Christina's search efforts, raising over £3,000. Michael's disappearance remains a mystery. The family is left to wonder what happened to him in those final moments before he vanished. Did he suffer from heat stroke and become disoriented in the wilderness? Was he taken in by someone who has not yet come forward? These questions haunt those who knew and loved Michael, with his family holding on to the hope that one day they will find him and bring him home.